With Season 3 Episode 1 dropping a major reveal, we're asking whether each season of The White Lotus is more interconnected than they seem. At first glance, The White Lotus presents itself as an anthology series, with each season set in a different branch of the fictional luxurious resort chain, from Hawaii in Season 1 to Sicily in Season 2, and now Thailand in Season 3. This structure allows for new settings, conflicts, and character arcs. But is there a larger hidden narrative beyond the basics that creator Mike White is weaving? White has acknowledged that while each season stands alone, they are all part of a larger thematic exploration of wealth and morality. He has hinted that the show could eventually make deeper connections between seasons, possibly bringing back multiple past characters in a future installment. Could The White Lotus eventually reveal a grander design tying all 3 seasons together? Or are these connections simply breadcrumbs leading nowhere? One of the biggest reasons for thinking something grander is afoot is the reappearance of certain characters, some of whom have already appeared in Season 3, making longtime viewers start to watch more carefully, namely Greg Hunt. Played by John Grease, Greg's shock appearance in Episode 1 of The White Lotus Season 3 has made many question what his real intentions are across the series as a whole, and whether it is his or Tanya's arcs that are really a deeper thread within the series' narrative. Tanya McQuoid, played by Jennifer Coolidge, was the most significant returning character, appearing in both Season 1 and Season 2. She first arrives at the Hawaiian White Lotus in Season 1, seeking emotional solace and closure as she mourns her mother's passing. This is where she first met Greg. The setup led us to believe it was a simple hotel meet cute, which blossomed. In Season 2, Tanya takes a trip to the resort's premises in Sicily, now married to Greg. Their marriage quickly shows cracks, and Greg mysteriously disappears for much of the season. Eventually, it's revealed that he conspired to have Tanya killed so he could inherit her fortune. Tanya, in a desperate attempt to escape, ends up accidentally ending her own life. Was this his plan all along? And if so, who is Tanya really? Does she have a deeper connection to the White Lotus hotel chain? And is it her legacy that connects the seasons? This can be felt again through Tanya's connection to Belinda Lindsay in Season 1. Over the course of the season, Tanya grows close to Belinda, the Hawaii spa manager, leading her on with the promise of funding her wellness center so Belinda can work for herself. Tanya ultimately abandons Belinda to assist Greg in his endeavors, leaving Belinda in her wake. In Season 3, Belinda returns.
I am back, baby!
However, she is not there as an employee, but as a visitor to the Thai White Lotus instead. Having seemingly rebuilt her life, she travels with her son, Zion, to learn about Eastern wellness practices. This suggests that despite being let down by Tanya, she has managed to pursue her dream anyway, though her reappearance could also indicate unresolved tensions from her previous experience, and with both her and Greg at the resort, could something darker happen? Portia, played by Haley Lou Richardson, was Tanya's assistant in Season 2. Also caught up in the drama that seemed to follow Tanya, she narrowly escapes a terrible fate herself after being caught up in Greg's murder plot. The final shots of her in the second season show her processing her experience and looking uncertain about her next steps. Given her first-hand knowledge of Greg's crimes, fans are now expecting she will return in Season 3, possibly seeking justice or closure. Beyond recurring characters, The White Lotus maintains a strong thematic thread that continues across each season, providing a style and narrative connection. Marketed as a dark comedy, the main focus of the series is to satirize the secrets behind those who live in lavish luxury and surface-level contentment. This is done through various means within the show. Each season explores how wealth and privilege insulate guests from the consequences of their actions, and how those at the other end are either pulled to an immoral place by it or driven to despair when they have to enable it. Season 1 showcased how the wealthy, particularly the Mossbacker family and Shane Patton, exploit the resort workers. This is shown through the Hawaiian staff, including Kai, who attempts to rob the Mossbackers in a desperate act of defiance against the wealth imbalance. Armand, the resort manager, also suffers a downward spiral due to the entitlement and mistreatment he endures from guests like Shane, ultimately leading to his tragic demise.
I'm sorry.
Season 2 had us watch the privileged navigate power dynamics in romantic and sexual relationships. This is how the storyline of Ethan, Harper, Cameron, and Daphne plays out. This is also felt through Tanya and Greg's romance, where his manipulation and emotional gaslighting keep Tanya under his thumb. Sexual manipulation and infidelity have become tools of control, and the relationships are more about power rather than love. Additionally, the DeGrasso men exploit local women, with Bert, Dominic, and Albie all engaging resulting in varying degrees of objectification and naivety regarding their interactions with Sicilian women.
I just really need you guys to leave.
Lucia and Mia, two local sex workers, also manipulate their wealthy clientele, turning the tables on them in the final nod towards transactional relationships. Season 3's setting of Thailand is expected to explore Westerners' interactions with Eastern spirituality and the oversimplification of cultural experiences, then sell them off for personal gain. The White Lotus resorts are more than luxurious settings. They highlight tensions between tourists and locals. The locations are picked for the series specifically for their cultural and historical significance. By having the events play out in these locations, Mike White is holding a mirror up to the world of luxe tourism and showing it to be more of an invasion that romanticizes and commodifies the true story of the locals. Season 1 explores the displacement of native Hawaiians and the impact of tourism on local communities, which has been a genuinely contentious subject in Hawaii for decades. The character of Kai symbolizes the deep-rooted struggle between indigenous culture and commercial tourism. His downfall emphasizes how the wealthy remain untouched while locals suffer consequences. The DeGrasso family trip to find their Sicilian roots in Season 2 illustrates a shallow understanding of heritage. In a bid to seem more exciting, they end up treating their ancestry as a fantasy rather than acknowledging the real history of the people who remained. Even from the earliest showings of Season 3, we can see how the show will be tackling the problem of Western exoticism and how tourists treat Eastern spirituality as a form of self-indulgent therapy. Each season revolves around the same central question: who dies? Death is the constant theme looming over every storyline. The show uses this idea to remind viewers that despite luxury and excess, no one is immortal. The repeated use of water imagery in each season, from drowning metaphors to the ocean-swallowing characters whole, suggests an overarching commentary on power, karma, and the inescapability of consequence. While the thematic connections are clear, fans have been theorizing about what is exactly going on with the hotel chain overall. The recurring characters and consistent events that affect some of the guests seem to be too convenient for coincidence. Some fans believe that each resort is a metaphorical purgatory where characters must confront their moral failings before facing their fate. The repeated use of death as a major plot device supports this interpretation, as well as the testing tragedies and experiences some guests go through during their stay.
Is Greg having an affair?
Then we have what some fans refer to as the White Lotus conglomerate conspiracy. What if the mysterious unseen head of the White Lotus conglomerate is orchestrating these events? Some speculate that the resorts themselves are designed to expose the guests' darkest impulses, leading to their inevitable downfall, or even provide some form of evidence for future blackmail. So, are the seasons connected? While the White Lotus functions as an anthology, it offers a richer experience when viewed as a continuous story. Recurring stories surrounding Tanya, Greg, and Belinda have created a bridge between seasons, while thematic consistencies of privilege, exploitation, and death reinforce the idea that all of these stories are part of the same world. Although you can watch the seasons however you like, you will gain a lot more from watching them in order, and perhaps be rewarded with a stronger underlying plot we're yet to discover. What do you think? Is there a master plan behind the White Lotus, or are these connections just cleverly placed Easter eggs? Share your theories in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe to ScreenRant to keep up with all your White Lotus news.